morning with my mind. It was stay on Jesus. I woke up this morning with my mind. It was stayed on the Lord. If you did not help me build it, you definitely won't enjoy what you didn't help build. Amen. Okay. I don't know, you guys. I think y'all should be able to hear me. I am really sleepy. I haven't even. I've been up all night, and besides 5 minutes today, no sleep. And I'm so sleepy. I just told my red baby, your mommy is so sleepy. So I have to get this up here. This will be a blackout, you guys, and get it, pull it through as best what I can. Um, because the Lord won't let it go. And oh my gosh, my right, I've been jumping. All right, those of y'all who know, you know, okay. Um, follow me along. I'm not gonna say the person's name, but you will know exactly who I'm talking about. This major case right now, and before for protection and all that, I'm just gonna say in W. Um, Mr. Wells. When I said that, what in the Lord Jesus? Please don't do me like that, Lord. I'm about to run. When I said his name, I kid you not, this phone over here that is not in use, it just blinked twice. You know what? Hey, if you do it again, y'all, I'm gonna hit the door. I'm telling y'all now. I'm telling you, that just woke me up now. That you see my voice change everything. If I say his name again and that phone blinks again or does any such thing, if y'all hear me running, you understand. You know why? Oh my god! Oh my god! Y'all have no idea. That's why I don't like. I really. Oh my god! I can't say elaborate so much on it because I don't want to make God angry with me, but I'm telling you, it's a very interesting thing. And I don't see how people play with certain stuff and be talking about, ooh, creepy things. Just say that. I am not the one, y'all. The psychic stuff and all that. I do have gifts, honey, but let me tell you, I walk with the Lord Almighty all day long, okay? Woo! That just freaked me out. I have to make light of it right now because it just freaked me out. Oh my God. Okay. Y'all praying for me? Oh my goodness. Y'all praying for me? Oh Lord. I'm almost scared to say something. Yeah, for real. So, according to, here it is. According to what, welcome. Thank you. I done got so caught up, y'all, into the whole. I was just shook it. I mean, because the thing wasn't that it. Anyway, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. So here's the vision, which is posted on the community board. Prophetess Netta set the record straight. Thank you for joining. I love y'all. Thank you for liking, share. Well, all that stuff. All the stuff is stuff is. I love y'all. Let me interrupt y'all, D. um, I'm trying to make it light, but it's very serious. And I'm laughing, but I actually have tears in my eyes because upon me um writing the vision on here, and then today I came back on here because that last post that I made, I was looking from the other phone, which would be, oh my God, which would be the phone that just did that, that just blinked like that by itself. Um, oh my God, it's just weird. That is the same phone. When I went to try to find the status that I posted I think it was this morning, right? On here. And I had a couple of nitwits coming through there as far as the comments was concerned that I had to, I wasn't finna argue with nobody. From now on, you act stupid, you cut up, and all that. Honey, all you gonna know is you gonna be blocked. You can report what you want to. I don't care. Because ain't nobody got time for that foolishness. Y'all need, if y'all adults, y'all need to be adults. Y'all need to grow the heck up. If you don't agree with something, if you don't like something, if you don't understand what's being said, you have all your fingers, hopefully, on your freaking hand. Obviously, you're using something to scroll. So you make a sound determination whether you're going to entertain it or you're not. And you stroll. You and your stupid comments. That's just period. Don't nobody be with all that. Because over here, for me, as I'm concerned, when I state something, it's stated for just what it is. Because it's not something about my emotions and my feelings. It's what God said. You may not understand it until I explain it theoretically and clearly, just like I'm about to do where this vision is concerned. And this really might take y'all for a loop because unless you understand how to interpret, you understand how to interpret visions and dreams yourself. Um, you may have kind of looked into it or you may have not understood what it is. Because to be honest, I knew it was something and God kept sticking it in my face because there was women, there was at least like two women that I saw and it was me and it was another person, but it was like a light skinned lady. It was like a white lady. And I was like, so how am I supposed to know which? This is what stood out so clear. How am I supposed to know which house to go to? And she said, here, I'll lead you because it's my house. And in this case, in this particular case, if you, I'm gonna let y'all, I guess I'll try to find what I was listening to. And it shook me to my core because in silence, as I was sitting this morning, God said to me, you do know that that wasn't just about the military, but it was about in Wales. No, no. And what God is doing now is revealing to me bits and pieces of what took place. So I told y'all, because I haven't been actually just now with that happening is the most energy I've had, like burst of energy, just like that. Um, Before I got on here, I was feeling sluggish. I was sleepy, and I was just even. I just told my daughter, and I was just like, I won't go to sleep. And this morning, I had a delivery, and they started early, but he's he delivered on time, but it's just the whole thing with you have to pay attention until they get to y'all know how to go. Anyways, and it's just annoying because a lot of times, like especially if um somebody's asleep or nothing, I don't like the whole knock on the door thing. But I tried to stay alert because I did order ice cream and stuff like that because I had planned it on. And my daughter just informed me, Mommy, it's not Monday, it's Sunday. So that was my whole plan to cook some some turkey wings, smothered turkey wings, yellow rice, cabbage, and make some cornbread casserole. So I was waiting on the stuff to get here so I could go ahead. I already had prepped the meat and go ahead and get everything done or whatever. Then I was telling her, I was like, I went in there to actually warm up me some food because she was like, Mommy, I'll take you to the meat store. And I was like, I can't budge. And I explained to her the same thing. And I was like, oh, my mind was all the way out the door, all the way to the meat store already. But my body was saying, oh, no, sister, you're not going anywhere. So I finally, before I got on here, which is getting cold, but and I must, if you hear me start to chewing a little bit, it's because I need to, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go back in there and warm it up again. Um, but I think that's too probably why my strength started coming back because I hadn't eaten today and stuff. Um, but however, the whole thing transpired in such a way, and it really um shook me because you know how because some of y'all know what it is for God to talk to you, for the Holy Spirit to reveal something to you, and some of y'all may not. So the closest thing I could say is even like my grandson was just here, and he was like he kept being like in my face, and he kept doing this thing that he does, and he'll grab me and he'll hug me and then he'll pull me a little closer. So he had went in to give me a kiss, but I had turned when I because he was doing, like he was doing like he was saying, you know how you whisper to somebody, but you do it. So it's the way he does it. So I didn't want him blowing in my face. I'm even though yeah, this one thing that gets you real good, even though they're my grandkids, y'all. But I am really finicky. I'm really picky about people kissing me. I don't care. Children, mama, my brothers, they have a whole joke about it, and they tried to hold me down to get me. And I told them that even if I, God forbid, or whenever it happens, if I die, you better not. You better not put your lips on me. Don't kiss me. Um, and I was like, if y'all kiss me, I'm going to get up out that casket and run all y'all out the church. So everybody just laughed from that day to this one because like nobody everybody just laughs like she's just but when it comes to the whole kissing thing, so the ones that really get away with it is the two babies, which would be the baby girl and the one I was just telling you about, which is baby boy. But it's like I don't like it. Like I will let him get away with it every now and then. The hugs, yes, but kissing, no. So he likes to kiss me on my jaw right there. He does it like unexpectedly, so you have to be paying him attention. Because he like me, he don't freely give kisses. The only people he will kiss is like me and his mom, um, or whatever. So, anyways, I was listening to the lady, and it was almost like that. It's like the Holy Spirit was in my face like that. whispering to me, saying, "You're not paying attention to what God has been trying to show you," and it's confirmation. It's Nolan that you saw. Remember? See right there at the top when I said, let me see, let me make sure I can read it on this thing. Jesus. So it said, I woke up from the vision, and their authorities, which looked so much like military, and they were in a panic. Follow along with what I'm saying now. They were like, they looked like the authorities, which looked a lot like military. Remember how I told you they was dragging the body, and it was like the formation that they had, and that's what made me think where the military was concerned. So it has just come out that our president, um, apparently, allegedly, or however you want to say it, was saying um, about putting more, sending more military out to Iran or whatever the case may be. And remember, before I got off, was that last night? I think it was. The last live I did, we prayed, and I was like, I was praying that whole thing with the boots on the ground or whatever. I don't know. Did I mention it in here as well? I don't know. We'll see. Um, so it looked like military, and they were in a panic. Observation number two, panic mode, and one yell. Three, everybody keep calling this name out, right? And seems that name is very much on the Richter scale, and it has not went away. He's DEAD. Look now. Now they was dragging him, and it was a whole. Remember I said it was a whole lot of them. So when you hear what the girl said, this is why it took me for a loop. When you hear what the girl said, it made a lot of interesting sense to what God was showing me. And when he revealed to me, this was before I see the video or whatever, that is what I was looking at. And I was trying to move away from it other than mention it to y'all before I ended the podcast from the last video. I tried not to go into depth of it or whatever. Like I said, I'm not a tarot reader. I'm not a psychic. So I don't do what you see them do. If God tell me something, I'm going to believe me. I'm going to weigh it out in whatever it is it said because you have to be careful because I don't know how, well, I can't, it's just, it's a lot trying to do that. Sometimes what can happen, and this is the dangerous thing about readings and things like that, people can project things in the atmosphere. You can also have dreams and visions by things that you watch, things that you see. This is why you frequently hear me say, I don't watch the news. I don't look at other people's videos unless it's something God draw me to it for a specific reason. Um, and there are certain ways that people know how to manipulate the spirit realm when it comes to that. And many of y'all don't understand that when it comes to readings, but that is what they do. Because a lying spirit, which the spirit that is operating through them, which God declares in the word, is a familiar spirit. If you study familiar spirit and you see where it derives from, would be the what is the ancient Greek or Hebrew that it derives from? It says Baal. Baal is a god. It's a demon god, which God reveals in the Word of God in Jeremiah. according to psychics, mediums, those that use charms, necromancy, astrology, and those things. He declares that these people prophesy to you. They tell you dreams that I did not show them. They prophesy to you things that I did not speak to them. Because from Deuteronomy, Leviticus, um, several places in the New Testament, he talks about he have no parts. I think even Daniel or something like that. He has no parts with that divination spirit. So this is when God revealed to me what divination spirit was. The peoples, the dude. Y'all forgive me. I ain't said nothing rude about y'all. I'm just trying to explain it out so people can understand where it's coming from and separate the two to understand when it's God and how to understand when something is not God. Because God cannot move contrary to his word. That would make him a liar. Okay? So when you look into the situation, and for those of y'all that don't know, I've been seeing visions and dreams and my loved ones before they leave this world, and even some instances after they have left this world. But when it's after they have left this world, it's usually the case as what God broke down to me and revealed to me of how spirit operates, which being familiar spirits do show up in your dreams. This is why some of you think that your grandparents and your loved ones and people, whatever, show up in your dreams and they speak to you. That is not so. That is not so. That's that same familiar spirit. And what familiar spirits are, remember, Satan was cast out of what? Out of heaven into the earth, right? He took a third of the angels with him, and that made you had good angels that belonged to God, and you had evil angels, which were in cahoots with Satan, right? So remember, if we always existed because God is eternal and we came out of him, we are all spirit. Watch it now. God created the world, the universe, energy in it. They speak according to what they say, energy. They can't reveal anything to you by energy. You're not energy. Science has determined that. Even where the beliefs on astrology, science has determined that there's no evidence connected to that. No, your not your mood swings according to the moods and none of that. All that's been debunked, even with science. Okay? Now, Now, I have to explain this out, y'all, because you have gobble gobble mouths that be coming through here, planting things and twisting stuff around and trying to act like, you see, and she on the wrong side, and she over there, and she over here talking about, and she over there, she thinks she one of them, them tarot readers, and da 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 da. You see how he just did my voice? I mean, tried to stop me from saying what I was saying. See, um, so. God taught me the difference in me seeing ghosts and me knowing, like with Samuel, with several cases where in the Bible, in the Word of God, where the angel spoke to them. So now I just explained to you about the angels. Now didn't I? And I just explained to you about spirit, familiar spirits, right? So they're connected dots. When an angel appears to you from the Lord, you need to understand that angels can transform themselves, they can disguise themselves. So this works a good way and a bad way because we're working with two different sets, the evil and the good, right? Confirmation. So therefore, God opened my eyes to what's really happening and understand that it's not that I'm hearing this and that. God has the ability to give us information and tell us what it is he wants to know. If he wants me to tell you that something was going, something, whatever it is that you, maybe you going through grief, and you know, going through, which most people go to psychics for that. They want to know what their dead relatives said and da 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 da. You have to remember, because Jesus perceived their thoughts. Jesus also um knew things. He foreknew things before the disciples even knew. Just as with Judas. And it was appointed time that God allotted in Jesus at the table where they what the feast that they was at, that he revealed, one of you will betray me. Okay, so it says, and it denotes that everything is not to be said just because you're song at that time. The Bible declares that, and I'm not going into a preaching or anything like that, but I'm trying to help you so you understand what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and where it come from. Okay. Um, where is it again? Where is it? I just had it right there until I said that. Guess I'll be warming this food up again. um, that was gross. um, it was a scripture. God, the Holy Spirit gave back to me. When the Lord revealed to me that Jesus didn't tell the disciples certain things because they weren't ready for it. The reason why he revealed that to me is because he knows what I carry. And he was preparing me because I've never known anything about the divination world and stuff like that. And knowing that it's a sensitive subject in between the church and the those people. Okay. So he said, just like Jesus, they gonna assign you the try to label you a devil, but I'm not gonna let that happen. And that you teaching by Beelzebub or whatever. That's what they say to Jesus now. So what more would you think they be saying about me? And don't know me for the first and a half. All right. And y'all just heard me tell y'all. It's got darn well. I ain't around here trying to conduct no spiritism. When I almost just ran when I seen that phone blank like that when I said that boy name. I was finna go. Who? I heard some old witch talk about, oh, because you got Clarence and all of this and all this stuff. And then she gonna talk about when you grew up, you probably was into stuff like, and first of all, I had kids around by the time Harry Potter had done came out. I ain't never in my life, I was never interested in Harry Potter. And my children to tell you, neither did I let my children watch. What you call it? Now, when I was growing up, the things that was, and I didn't even realize until like just it's been a couple of years now, just looking on the internet and thinking about something. And I noticed, y'all, that my granddaddy used to watch the Smurfs. And you know how they be releasing these new movies now and stuff like that. And with my grandson and my daughter, that's what made it brought it to my attention. And I said, whoa, they have been setting us up for generations with this stuff. It's been in everything that we watch. Because most definitely, and I remember when what the girls' name that was supposed to be sisters or something like that, and they was supposed to, they white girls, they was like, someone was on Friends and all that. I forgot the name of the that show everybody used to watch. And then, well, back when I was younger, I watched Samantha from Bewitched. I ain't know nothing about no magic, y'all. All I know is I liked it the way she dressed and the way she carried herself as being classy or whatever. Now when I look back and I see differently. But that's why I said when your children are children, these things they are innocent. They're vulnerable to these things because I didn't know I had no knowledge of that looking at any of that sort of thing. I like the things like Wonder Woman and my grandmama stayed with stuff like westerns and Little House on the Prairie. She liked it boxing, crazy stuff. Because I use sometimes. Um, and my granddaddy, he had another type of scientific. He was into the news. He like I think he did like politics and stuff like that. But none of that stuff interests me. None of that stuff really, And I was glad when I got to the point where I could watch my own stuff because I was tired of watching westerns and Little House on the Prairie and Barnaby Jones and telling me, hey, girl, hey, all that stuff with my grandma, Kojak and all that stuff. And she everything with her was a beat 'em up, bang bang. So with this thing with Nolan or whatnot, when God brought it, as you see right here, that's why I put it up there. It didn't dawn on me what I was looking at was like, for what was going on with the soldiers because in all essence, their uniforms and stuff that I saw, it was like them. But what he leaned into me is that what I noticed is all the people that was dragging that body were WHITE. You see? And as soon as when it came in the vision, the crazy part was the boy said he's DEAD. So I'm like, but the thing that kind of threw me for a loop is because we're standing over here. And now it was like this splitting in the past. They was coming up from one direction and we were standing off to the side. And there was a splitting up on which way, but both of the the ends of the path led to there was two separate houses. There was two separate houses. Now I don't remember seeing a boat or anything. And like I said, in the way God is dealing with me and He's showing me, um, it's been kind of like weird a little bit, but He's doing it in a way that's strategic. And sometimes with me, because it can get so overwhelming for me, um, seeing certain stuff and stuff like that. To I've kind of learned how to block it a little bit. Needless to say, and kind of I think sometimes maybe it might be getting me a little bit in trouble with God because at one point it was, especially with me being on YouTube, it just zoomed, it just enhanced and all out. I mean, I was, whew, Jesus, Lord have mercy, y'all. I was like, if just please turn it off all day long. There were things and I was writing in books I have wrote from Mexico. You remember I was telling y'all the same thing in Mexico. Um so that's thank you, Holy Spirit. Before I got on here, I went to pick up the phone and it's like the same thing I told y'all when I was in Mexico and in Texas. And each time, remember, I told y'all, even in the hotel, like the whole hotel was vibrating. And then it's just like before I got on here, I felt the same thing, like the earth shake that was underneath us. And I was like, oh my God. Look, somebody just turned on a loud engine. Wow. Okay. So y'all be praying or whatever, because I don't know, and I don't even know if apparently God don't have no wherever He wants something to be, it's gonna be. So I'm not gonna even say I don't know if earthquakes come to Florida or not, because definitely the two places that I was in, and I told my son, um, before leaving Mexico, I told him, I said, son, I don't know what it is, but as a prophet, it's like I don't know. I know a part of it is me being a regional prophet. That's why he sent me into certain territories in certain areas, and he'll withhold certain judgments in that region. But when I leave, something always take place, some type of natural disaster or something like that. And it's just to show as I traveled from Mexico and got out of the vicinity, boom, straight across the headlines of the news. Just what I told my son. And it had to do with the earthquakes or whatever. When I was in Texas, and I thought that because it wasn't just me, my grandchildren, and whatever, they felt that they knew or whatever. And we were saying it, and I was like, you think that we'll be feeling that vibration from Mexico to Texas? And then because what the oldest girl, she is, oh, wow, she is little Miss Brain. So she started breaking it all down to me, y'all, of how how things. I said, okay, okay. But that's the same thing. So I don't know, but these earthquakes is hitting some of everyone. I just seen it again when I turned my eye that it's gonna swallow up something. It's gonna swallow up something. Lord, please, please, don't, please, Jesus, not just don't let it be over here, Jesus, please, and please, please, Jesus, I don't need it. Oh, just please get me and my family out the way, and the people on here, just keep us, Jesus, Lord, have mercy. But um, I just seen that the hole opened up and it swallowed up something like in the ground when I said that again by earthquake. So okay, that's prophetic. So back to Nolan. They were, you can see how they were dragging his body, and it was a lady that was giving them instructions into where to go, which house to go in. She said, "Let me lead the way because I know exactly how to get back to and how to do this, that, that." And that's what she did. I totally got out of the way and stepped aside. So that's what really jarred my attention to what was happening where the vision was concerned. They were in panic mode, and somebody yelled, "He's DEAD." And they were scrambling. Look at that, dragging a soldier to safety. Something happened somewhere. Look, look, look. You hearing this? Something happened somewhere in which I was trying to get to the right place or safety, home or something. There were several paths, and a lady knew just how to get back into that place. I prayed over first responders, ICE, military, police, officers everywhere. Uh, when y'all see me put the world there, that means around the world. Most time I'm from sleeping to something I try to just long as it get up there. And it was intense. Don't rule out Mr. President. Okay? Now let me do this one thing and we can get off of here. My food is very much cold. The brownie has turned into stone. You know how you want for hungry man and they be having the brownie inside thing, y'all. It was pretty good when I was getting out here. That thing is, it's like it ain't cake no more, y'all. It's hard as a rock. And I figured that because that's my second time. Look, my baby asked me. She said, "Mama, you want me to bring you your food out the microwave?" I was like, "No, baby, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make it back in there. I'm gonna get it." And then I end up having one again because it's been sitting there. Uh-oh. Mm, mm. Something keeps feeling like it's crawling, tickling me or something on my arm. Y'all pray for me. Yeah. I don't say things out loud because I don't want to spook y'all, but also scare y'all or whatever. But when I tell you, it is weird, even to the point that I'm just keeping my hair up. I did anything just touching me or feeling like it's woo. Let me get out. Get out here. Um, I cannot. Oh yeah, I'm just trying to get to. Here's the thing. Which one did I save it to? Mm, I think I got it. Yeah, I think. Um, Let me see.
The track hooks
I want you to
around
hear this.
and runs right past where the party was. Then, and only then, does the boat finally come out of the water. To Jay, it looks like a
I want y'all to hear what she's saying. Now, keep everything I just said in mind, cause it almost made me jump out my skin. And you will see how my dream unfolded. Whoever this person is, I don't know this person. I don't know whatever. This is one of them things. These influencers out here be putting stuff out here about the cases and stuff like that. But here it is, y'all listen yourself.
The report gave everyone a timeline. The map gave her questions. An independent investigator known online as Jay took the GPS coordinates from the Citizen Navy report, overlaid them onto her own research, and found stops, docks, and boats that are not in the story anybody told. And she says this is now the third time she has had to remake this video because they keep taking it down. So do yourself a favor. Put the phone down, turn the volume up, and pay close attention because the details in this one are not the kind you catch half listening. You're watching The Black Docket. In today's
I'm
case,
finna turn it up.
Nolan Wells, Part 2, The GPS Lie, The Fourth Boat, and the videos they keep taking down. If you're new here, subscribe and tell us you're watching from. Now let us get into it. She started where the data starts. With the boats. Jay began with the GPS points plotted from Wyatt's boat, the same points that were plugged into Google Earth and turned into the slides inside the report. Then she overlaid them on top of research she had already been doing, and it should have been easy. It was not. Line up the islands, and the rest would not match. Line up the marina, and the islands drifted. Her instinct, and she says, this is alleged, and she cannot prove it, is that somebody manipulated the image to cover something.
Yep.
So she did the honest thing. She focused on the top half of the map, the marina, and the grandparents' house, and followed the boats. And the boats tell a story.
Now keep in mind, I told y'all when I prophesied, even before this took place, I showed y'all when I posted it, before this boy's actual DEATH took place. And I said they was going to scramble up information and such. And what God showed me is the reason why it was um pinpointed that that boat moved around. Those boats, he just corrected me. He said those boats. Look at that. Those boats moved around so much is because from one island to the other one. And I believe the scenario, because there was a fight. However, they switching the names on who was doing what. You hear me? But they are telling the story of what happened. So the indication is somehow you said that the fight took place. Then the other brother came, and it was with somebody else on the island, but that wasn't Nolan. How ironic that Nolan's phone ends up missing. He has no way to contact anybody when he feels like he's in danger. Watch it now. So the fight that ensued is being covered up. Whoever dealt the blow to take him down and whatever they did, he didn't all the way. And it could just be that if they, as them trying to cover up, because when people are nasty like that and they start doing things like that, they'll do something like that because he didn't have no way to contact anybody. And if you telling me y'all had beef about a girl, you didn't like the way he talked to a girl or whatever, that don't seem like Nolan's character. What it seems like, if the girls was into Nolan, they all pretty. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be attracted to him, but anyways, they fresh college whatevers and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure they all had girls interested in him. But however the jealousy has transpired and took place, I told y'all, you keep trying to make it about a race thing, but pay attention to what I'm saying. Boy, my left eye is a jumping. Good Lord. Good Jesus. The Nolan fought back. I believe everybody witnessed what happened there. I told you there is video of that boy's death and what happened. If they were so nasty, is to jump him. I told y'all it started with one. Didn't I say? It's God showed me it started with one, but it was a premeditated thing because somebody was getting jealous of the attention and whatever how it was going. So either the boy was into Katie or whatever the case may be, or whoever was talking to Nolan or whatever the case may be. It had to go back to the same thing because the boy said it out his mouth. He passed by Nolan and he made a smart comment to Nolan about the girl. So the boy kept saying that Nolan was all coddling and he was really into her and all of that. So just think about it. If it's somebody you had previous dealings with, which they could be lying, that we don't nobody know her and all that. Apparently, according to what No No's mama is saying, that they all have knowledge of this girl, Katie. Okay? So when you have situations like that, I've been in school, I've seen it happen before. Was fights will start, especially with boys and stuff like that. Girls with their little cat fights. But boys would do that, and they'll be friends with somebody, but it really gets the best of them if it's somebody that they really wanted to get the home base with, or whatever the case may be. And she start feeling one of the other boys, homies or whatever. Instead, it takes a hold unless they really have that bond with one another and say we're not going to let that come in between us. Because what y'all have to look at, you saying racist, but Nolan has been around these boys since what? Junior, middle school, or something like that. So above what, 8 years or something like that? Then I'm pretty sure he been plenty places with those guys. Okay. So for all of a sudden, oh, it's a whole racial thing. No, I think it's not. It went too far. I can honestly, ooh, I just felt something all over me just now when I said that. It went too far. And with them drinking and all of that, and they kept saying about Nola's alcohol, this and that, or whatever. No, he was not. He was not intoxicated until the point of whatever. And I think they all, due to the heat and all of that stuff, because when you drinking and you out in the heat, I have watched people. I've been around drunks all my life. Okay, and how they do, and the reason what happened, the reason why I didn't turn into what most of my family turned into is because I was able to watch them. I saw a lot as a child and as an adult. So what I saw when it came to drugs and my mom, it steered me away from drugs. I was afraid of drugs, confirmation, because I didn't want to do the things I saw or be in the situation and the things what I saw where that occurred with my mom. And when it came to drinking, it was always something that the smell for me, it was the smell that I couldn't eat, just make me gag, just like cigarette smoke. So I don't know. I believe that that was something that God did because generally, pretty much everybody where the family is concerned at a certain age or whatever, them being around each other, that's pretty much the path they take. You see? So my granddaddy used to get drunk till he was staggering back to the house and all this kind of stuff. I saw all those things. What it is when they out there working in the sun and drinking beer all day and all that kind of stuff. Um, as well as having a white granddaddy. Okay. Um, and the difference in between the two of them, one was black and one was WHITE. All right. I was very aware. My grandmama always said that as far as me being at a young age and stuff like that. So upon my granddaddy get ready to die, God showed me. He showed me what was happening and the way it came to me as a child. My granddaddy was in the hospital at that point. They called him. I was getting ready to go to school. I got up. I had told my grandmother them that the Lord showed me going up into the heaven with my best friend. And it was some type of like they had told me it's some type of visitation that I had. But I told them it was like I seen a phone call, and I was like, "You took the phone call," but then we all had tears, and then she immediately froze, and she was like, "Oh Lord." She was like, "Well, I guess when I get off of work, I need to go see about your grandfather." When she was saying that, the people called from the hospital and said, if y'all have hopes to see him alive again, you all need to get to the hospital. So they told the pastor, they all met up at the hospital. They was determined and they was like, well, because from the home that we were at, his mom's home at that point, it was a good traveling distance away for me to go to school. So it ended up, and I was like, I want to see my grandpa. I don't want to not see him before he passed away. So they was all in discussion about it. And because God had showed it to me the way that he showed it to me, my grandmother, which would be his mother, stated, I think she'll be fine. And I think the worst thing to do is not to allow her to see him before, if we get there before he passed away, that, she's probably gonna deal with that in a certain way as a growing child because they were very close. So when we all got there, whatever, my God gave my grandfather a chance to repent to me for the things he did to me as a girl. I looked at my grandpa and we were all holding hand praying. And I bent over to him and I whispered in his ear that I forgive you, Grandpa. And that is when you could see like the peace of God come over him. And you could just, he couldn't talk. You could just see the tears coming down his face. Um, y'all remember that thing, Ghost Whisperer or whatever? It was weird like that because in the instances of my grandparents leaving, it was something God told me to whisper to each one of them that set them free, and even to the point that several people that he had me to tell them that it was okay for them to go ahead and transition to go home. But they were not unalive. They were still alive. They were just fighting to stay because, you don't want to leave your children and things ain't might not always be, whatever, whatever. So even with my grandmother and her son was there being a pastor and everything, she told them that she wanted to be alone. Me and my spouse was there. And she said, leave them in here because when I went to praying for my grandmother, I mean, she went all into the spirit, y'all. It was just crazy. And we were just in awe. We were just in awe. She grabbed my hand, and when I went to praying for her, I figured that's what she wanted when she had my uncle, because he tried to take over, by him being a pastor and all that, supposed to be, whatever. But she knew the difference between the two of us, and that's what it is. She had me to pray with her and pray over her before she passed away. And she the way the spirit was in there and she responded was just, even the nurse was shook, honey. Um, and before I left, that was the same message that I gave my grandmother. And I think within that week, she went on ahead and gave up the ghost. She went on ahead and went to be with the Lord. Hopefully. I'd be telling nobody no, no, whatever. But I told her that God said it was okay. It was okay. She don't have to carry nobody's burdens no more. She free whenever time she get ready to leave. And that's what happened. Um, so now that you have that covered. But in the instances of the traveling, the the navigation system, all that stuff that they was doing, I told y'all that. That's why they was doing what they was doing. And whether people know it or not, that's why you keep getting these conflicting things. Which boat was he really on? So if they put your eyes on one boat, but they pulled him up in another boat where it went down to, then if they went and did forensics and all of that, you remember you dealing with a family that was knowledgeable about these things. Okay? There it is, confirmation. So the one person supposed to came to help them out or whatever. So that put on the scene, ain't that something? You don't want a Coast Guard, but your buddy come and pull up. Now all of a sudden y'all boat is okay. You say y'all jump down there together to do whatever to get the pump to start working or whatever. You see? So who's to say where the boy was transported to? You feel me? So he kept making it very, very, very clear that there was water in that boat. So if there was any DNA or whatever case may be, he was making it very plain when there's no evidence of it. And that still is kind of sketchy because I understand them being young boys, whatever, but I don't think that it's something that they never. because they knowledgeable about a lot of things. So all of that extra stuff, what had they behind unraveled is the fact that all this going on, they know they was gonna need to come up with some answers. Them trying to make sure that everything went their way, where as far as covering it up was concerned. The nervousness wasn't about no goddamn sinking boat. You can bet your behind on that. Um, like the Lord said. However, the reason why they was trying to resuscitate him and revive him and all that kind of stuff, but all that took a turn. I told y'all, God said that boy suffered before he passed away. And when they knew anything and they thought that they was gonna be able to do something in order, but that's what happened. When the boy, look how God brought it out. I wasn't trying to say that. When that boy, whoever, y'all gonna find out that I'm telling y'all the truth. The one with the little anger issues or whatever. That, and one of the things which you can't do nothing but say allegedly on it or whatever the case may be, that he said he deserved it. That's what's gonna spill the beans for the whole thing. Watch what I tell you. But I told y'all, it's what they did, and they actually was planning on leaving him on that island to get to cover themselves to just. But well, somebody said if we do that, you understand what I mean? So the timing of the body being found, it was clear, exactly that. But they gonna find that it was premeditated because the boy was to the boys or whatever, and he said so. When it popped off, that is what ended up happening. But I think what shocked them is that Nolan actually fought back. Somebody got embarrassed. When that happened, baby, the heat was on, okay? I had to position my words because it was on and popping. You hear me? And Paul Nolan, he had nobody there to stand up for him. The third boy, whoever he was, he really did have a heart for Nolan. And he said we shouldn't do him like that. That is whoever that was recording what was going on. Y'all gonna see that is exactly. Upon and it's weighing on that boy that had that phone. His conscience is very burdened right now because he knows in his heart that eventually he trying to keep the mind that it's gonna go away. They gonna cover it up. They gonna take it to their grave. But I'm telling you, that is why he made that personal mistake of holding on to Nolan's phone. He thought he's a little bit tougher to handle something than he was. But this here for all of them, it hit close to home. What you have to understand is what God is telling me. It was a risk that so many people was gonna be in a situation regardless. You hear that? That's the confirmation. It's so many people that was gonna be in trouble. But I don't care about people getting mad or whatever. I'm only here to deliver to you what God is saying and to tell you the truth about it. These are things I really don't even get into. I don't like to be whatever, but this is what God is saying. On the guy's part, it was not an intentional situation where it was a race thing. It's just upon everything sparking off the way that it did and how everything went down and all of that stuff and the race to try to cover up what happened. because everybody, they trying to start careers and lives, and they all young. The mama is judge, and then the daddies and everybody got all these important positions. You got over 100 people, probably more on the beach, eyewitnesses, their accounts, and then them not being paid or allegedly or not coming forward to talk or whatever the case may be, because it's definitely, I see right there, and then it's on the thing too where God said it to me. There's two people outside of them that was on that beach that have full knowledge of what took place that they're not telling you. And they've already said if they don't come forward to what happened, and I believe they're gonna see if they had a just came forward and stated the truth about it, they could have prevented a lot of what they now put themselves into, trying to cover some up to get them and made it even worse in the situation, you know? And I believe the mama is toiling with that too. She knows it. So there, with the coordinates, with the different places they went, it was all to hijack the information that would be given to the media and all this stuff because they knew it had the potential to spark attention by Nolan being black and all that kind of stuff. That was already put into place. They had a meeting. Yes, they did. Everybody that was involved and the people that they threatened told they better be quiet and all that kind of stuff. And which is crazy. Do I need to go get a GoFundMe or something? Is it that easy? You go you go get a ain't y'all rich already? You need a GoFundMe for what? For unaliving somebody? That is ridiculous if I ever heard it. For legal stuff? What? Anyway, let me get out of that because I don't know. I don't be into all this stuff. But however, this is the rest of what she's saying. If I need to intercept that, because as I'm talking and explaining things, sometimes things will miss my brain where I'm having to go back and insert it or whatever the case may be.
The track runs right next to the marina, connected to a man named Marty McGrath. The same man Katie McCormack says she caught a ride home with. It juts out toward a dock, as if a boat was pulling up to it. It passes two houses, where a boat is to pull into a private dock. Then it runs all the way down through a narrow lock area, to the bridge. Why go all the way to the bridge just to turn around? Because right there sits a large fishing pier. And right next to that pier sits the Ocean Springs Yacht Club. And a lot of these families are connected to that yacht club. Then, before she went any further, Jay said she wanted you to hear something. A recording that has been circulating. It has not been authenticated. She says as much herself, but she says it sounds genuine to her, and it works with her data. Y'all ready for today's Nolan Wells info drop? So first off, we remember these GPS coordinates that were plotted for us, remember? Those GPS coordinates were taken from Wyatt's boat, and they were plugged into Google Earth, and they developed a PowerPoint slide that we saw there that mapped out all of the points. So I decided to overlay those Google points on top of the points of the research that I've already been doing. I discovered some interesting stuff, because if they were just overlaying it on Google Earth, it should have been easy as cake, right? Well, I cannot tell you how many hours I spent trying to perfectly overlay this. Like, look at the islands in the middle here. I get them lined up, and then other things won't match up. Like you'll notice, like I said, these islands, look, they aren't moving, but everything else around it isn't working. So right away, my instincts are telling me that somebody manipulated this image to cover something up. Of course, that is alleged. I can't prove that, but, you know, it's supposed to just overlay. So honestly, I just did the best I could, and I mostly just focused on the top half, trying to get like the marina and the grandparents' house they went to all line up. So now we can really follow which way this boat was driving and the kind of stops it seemed.
So you just heard what she said. They went to the grandparents' house. Now follow along and look at this vision and what I just told you God revealed to me. Hear what he's saying.
We make it. And if you'll notice here, it goes right next to that marina that I was telling you guys about with the Marty McGrath, which is who, according to Katie, that she got a ride from. So that past the marina, as you can see, it juts out almost like it was pulling up to this dock. And then there's these two houses here, especially this house, where it seems like the boat pulled into the docks there. Then it went all the way down here. There's a little like lock area here, so you have to go through here. And it went to the bridge. And I was like, why did they go all the way to the bridge to turn around? But it turns out right here is a big old fishing pier. Then right next to that is the Ocean Springs Yacht Club. And a lot of these families are connected to the yacht club. Before I go on, I want to play a portion of this audio that's supposedly like a voicemail that has been going around. It has been authenticated, but it has important information. Because I'll be honest, it sounds genuine to me and it works with my data. So hold on. He's like, I don't think I got this TV. You'll be right behind y'all. We're all in the same house, the same place. He was like, I'll be right behind y'all. Y'all go ahead without me. I'll see you on, like, I'm literally right behind you. So, all that was, we had this big like, he's gonna go say whatever. Well, everybody got back in, and we were all at Amy's house. And so first off, all of us were gonna go to the same place. I'm gonna go in with Katie, meaning Katie was supposed to be at that party with them, or at least whoever Katie was with was supposed to be at that party, right? But that's not the important part. The important part is the name of the person who was throwing the party was Ava. Now I found Ava. I'm not gonna put her name out there, but simple Google searches will find this information. And I was able to basically just Google her name and find her address. And so the party was actually right in this yellow area. Again, I'm not gonna be like pointing out people's houses, but I found it. After they leave this pier that's right next to the club, they go all the way back and then they hook around and they go right next to where the party is. And then that's when they finally go and take the boat out of the water. Now it seems to me like they take people off. Like look how it goes in a little bit, almost like it was pulling into this pier at the marina, like I suspected. And they were just making the rounds, dropping people off before the party. Now her family and Wyatt's family, Warren's family, they're all connected. They're also part of the yacht club stuff. All of these rich families are super close, super connected. They're taking each other's kids on vacations, etc. Well, like just in May, there was a joint birthday party. But in the background of this birthday party at the beginning of May, there's Warren's mom, there's his little brother, and right there in the background is the mayor of Ocean Springs, Bobby Cox. In fact, here's another picture of him from the party, just in case that profile view wasn't enough for you. Oh, and he was tagged in the picture. Oh, and remember Lieutenant Carone, the first person on the report that we see when Nolan's mom called him in missing? As it turns out, someone that he's related to, I can't pinpoint exactly how the relation is, but their maiden name is the same as his last name. That turns out they have the same last name as who? The girl whose party it was. And I have confirmed that that woman is mutual friends of the mother of the girl who threw the party. And I'm going to go ahead and just wild guess theory. This is alleged, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that the reason they waited so long to tell the mom was they were waiting to make sure that he was on shit. And this is why I'm thinking more and more that they brought Nolan back to the house. Everybody got their story straight and stuff, and then they waited to tell Nolan's mom until he was going to
House, meeting, story, planning. There you go.
be on his shift and taking that phone call, which is probably why nobody was sent out to look for him that fucking night. That's why we don't have any footage of them going back to the grandparents' house up there. That's why no pictures from this supposed party ever came out. We are not presenting that recording as evidence. We are presenting it as a question, the same way she does, because the voice on it says the one thing the official story never did. We were all going to the same house. In the official story, Nolan stayed behind on the island, while his friends went home. But the voice on that recording says everyone, including the speaker and Katie, was headed to the same place, a party, and Jay found the party. It was hosted by a young woman she calls Ava. Jay will not publish her address, and neither will we, but public records put that party inside the same zone the boats kept circling. After they leave the pier next to the yacht club, the track hooks around and runs right past where the party was. Then, and only then, does the boat finally come out of the water. To Jay, it looks like a drop-off route, making the rounds, dropping people at a party before the boats get put away. And the families at that party are not strangers to each other. Katie's family, Wyatt's family, Warren's family, connected, close, yacht club members, taking each other's kids on vacations. A joint birthday party from early May. Jay found Warren's mother and his little brother in the background, and tagged in the same photo, the mayor of Ocean Springs, Bobby Cox. A birthday photo proves nothing by itself, but it tells you how small this world is. Then Jay pulled the thread that ties that small world to the night Nolan went missing. First name on the report, the officer who took the call when Christine Wansley reported her son missing, is a lieutenant. Jay found a woman connected to that lieutenant, same last name, mutual friends with the mother of the girl who threw the party. She cannot pinpoint the exact relation. She says so, but then she asks the question that follows. What if they waited to tell Nolan's mother until that officer was on shit? What if the group brought Nolan back, got their stories straight, and only then made the call to the person they knew would take it? It is a theory. She labels it a theory, but it would explain why nobody was sent out to look for him that night. Why no footage exists of the return. Why no pictures from the party ever surfaced. And it would explain Katie, because Jay matched swimsuits. Katie's own Snapchat shows her in a teal swimsuit beside a friend in a blue and white stripe. In the video of the three.
So pay attention to this. I I remember the Lord showing that to me when I said there's so much evidence because of the way they have handled everything. before his autopsy, what happened on that beach, that they have scars, bruises, scratches. There's a fight incurred. Nobody's bruising is found but on the DEAD person's body. You see? And that's the same thing I said, but I figured the internet folks will get all the clues. You just let them do the work for you, honey. Because I ain't even been fit to be into all that. I just know what God tells me to. I deliver that and go on by my business. Nevertheless, I was paying attention to that and the clothing that Nolan had on, and also the pictures that derive that tell me that's a stupidity in a lot of things. Because if you had on a certain clothing or whatever, yeah, you can argue that you just, wanted to change your clothes or whatever be case may be, or used out, it was wet or whatever. Well, y'all been in the water all day, so that's not really an excuse, and they gonna dry anyway. You still had time before you even reached the home or whatever, so make it make sense. So if y'all took the time to take photos and all this stuff to document this and that, to make sure there's a timestamp for where y'all were, who was what, da 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 da. Some people aren't being mentioned, but they're mentioning who they want to mention. But what she said is exactly what God said. That's why I said, when you look at all their photos and stuff, where other people have snapshots of photos and things like that, it says a lot. Who changed clothes? Were there visible bruises or bruisings or whatever? Because in the first place, if you think of it, somebody leave you stranded on the island because y'all have a fight with one another. I told y'all how my cousin them did it to me and some strangers that she was hanging out with or whatever. So it's not there. It does happen. But we just here now we on the road. And if you want to, or whatever, but I really didn't want to play the whole thing on basically my channel. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be. Um, but anyway, the phone is about to go dead. I'm gonna put it over here, but you'll still be able to hear because it's coming through my earpiece anyway. Oh, I actually need to sit it down because I really want to eat my food. So I apologize if it kicked anybody off. It's okay. We have an opportunity because that thing will be trying to cut out on us again.
Boats. A girl in a blue and white stripe stands on bar's boat. Right beside her, same long hair, girl, teal. In the video of the boat being towed, teal swimsuit, white hat, and on the shore, right after the fight, red trunks. Jay's conclusion, offered as visual analysis and nothing more,
The
is that
boy
Katie
changed
was
clothes.
not where her story says she was. She was with the group, leaving with the group. Then one last detail on the route. The report says the vessel headed southwest towards St. Martin Bayou. In St. Martin sits the Lottie Bay RV Resort and Marina, co-owned, according to.
So if that's the case, why is the story formulated of them trying to act as if Katie and him barely knew each other? And um And that's another thing that's conflicted. If he was cuddling her and all, you mean to tell me he just met the girl and they was doing all that and all? Um, why is it so important that they was trying to use her as the drop point for their story, but at the same time deflect from her? You know, because it does not make any sense. You telling me that she left with her family before Nolan or whatever the case may be, or whatever time that she had dated. Whether she left before or after, they're saying, the witness is saying that they was all supposed to meet up at the same place, including Katie. Now y'all getting where it don't make sense because you exile her. You just exile out at the point, and she herself saying that her peoples took her home or wherever they went off the island at a certain point at a certain time. So it's like make it make sense. Was she there or was she not there? And if she was there, in her account of what happened, is it that she saw, or did she want to, ride with Nolan and they were, on the boat or whatever and all that stuff went down because the person, in that situation or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, that still put her in a bad predicament or situation if she saw what happened and she's floating with a narrative to.
Jay's research by that same name, Marty McGrath, a massive dog sitting far out in the water, right next to the grandparents' house. And the trip to that boat round took 45 minutes by boat. By land, it takes about 6. And Jay has one thing she wants to say directly to Katie. You're young, and I know you don't realize this yet, but these are not your friends. Be a hero. Do what's right.
There you go.
Because when she finally laid out the full timeline, the story started contradicting itself out loud. 3 boats, 2.
Oh, I gotta change this earpiece. Get it, Natalie. You're so perfect. Not to put the darn earpiece in the thing wrong. All right.
Stories. One afternoon, Jay's timeline starts with the boats in the group that day. The Palm Beach, the Triton, and the Tideline. Warren said they arrived at 10:30, even though the GPS dropped its waypoint at 11:19. He said all 3 boats anchored up next to each other, and around 3 o'clock, the fight. Traston, tangling with a stranger, who did not like how he was talking to his girlfriend. An uncle, yelling to get in the boat. And Warren's own brother, pulled into a scuffle of his own. Okay, this is my full Nolan Wells timeline with my supporting evidence. There were 3 boats in their group that day: Palm Beach, the Triton, and the Tideline. Warren said they got there at 10:30, even though the GPS said that they dropped their waypoint at 11:19. He said the Tidecraft, the Palm Beach, and the Triton were all anchored up next to each other. At 3 o'clock, he gets into a fight with some stranger who didn't like the way that he was talking to his girlfriend because, look at the way he was talking in this interview. I don't blame them. And they had a fist fight. His uncle was like, "We're getting the hell out of here." I remember at one point in time, I looked over, asked my uncle, yelling at me in the boat. I stopped fighting. As soon as he got outside, I got in the boat. Then Warren says that his brother was also involved in the same fight. Come up to me and say, "Hey, your brother just got in a fight," and obviously, I mean, my brother, and I talking about it, I freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I walked over, right, be live, I freaked out, walked over, and my brother was kind of angry and what's going on. Someone was, he pulled away, I don't know who it was, and my brother was like, "I was gonna fight," and I got me in the face, got my right back, and then grabbed my brother by the arm, and totally not, it's absolutely not. My brother is much younger guy than my brother's age, and I mean, no, I never thought my brother, absolutely not, but, I'm sorry, I just lost it. You know, there's a issue with after the fight, the boat story begins, and this is where Jay, who grew up around boats, starts shaking her head. Warren said he got on the Triton and found about 6 inches of water at the transom. The bilge was failing. A buddy was pulling trash out of it. Wyatt jumped in the water and threw a rear anchor, and the explanation given for the flooding was that people getting on and off the boat dragged the water in. How did you find out this boat? Well, I walked back over and I will probably start a little bit. I was just not thinking, I want to release it. But new water, hail dust, calm down, base called it. I waiting that, and so when I got to the boat, I got on the Triton and had probably 6 water of the Triton, and I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Black, that was the boat, and no water's coming out, no active water's coming out, and the big issue, because I think the reason was because there's so many people falling off the boat, Yeah, that's not how boats work. Boats don't flood getting in and out of water. Mind you, I'd also like you guys to see that they are in much shallower water than they claim. But I digress. As someone whose parents have had several boats in their life, boats don't just start sinking because people are getting in and out of the water. I think they were trying to run as well because there is an under.
Yeah, because I told y'all too. Remember, I told y'all my grandparents had a boat, and it would probably be the size of the one that they said had all the people on the boat because it was pretty tall up against the house. Like it wasn't no small like fishing boat. It was a boat. My grandparents fulfilled their dream, and that's what they did when they built onto the house and they had purchased that. And I remember from this day until um when I was younger and them talking about the boat as well. Um yeah, it's a lot that don't add up with that because my grandfathers used to take me fishing and stuff like that when I was younger. So I have a little knowledge when it comes to those things.
Kid who just got into a physical fist fight on the island. All of them are drinking and driving boats, so they're trying to hightail it out of there. Now, Warren goes into so much detail that he accidentally explains what really happened, but not in the way that he was saying it. I think I was out here for a couple hours. The started filling up the water, so I tossed the starter's got hatch in the battery. The battery was completely out of water. Instead of the motor would turn down. I mean, nothing can turn down from the console. They turn down, and they come right back up. Now, trimming the motor means they move the propeller closer to the transom and it lowers the bow, which means they can drive through choppy water without risking that choppy water to come into the boat. Failing to trim your boat up and taking off at a high speed can not only overheat very quickly and cause it to short, but if waves are high, it will cut through the wake and it will cause the boat to porpoise and possibly have rough, choppy waters get on your boat. So I mean, way out there, it was pretty tall, like well, 3 or 4 knots. The water was clear, great day to watch sunshine. Not how you all, I mean, great day out for a spot. And so I mean, we followed each other out, and it's calm. It's calm. All the way back, a little rough, but it was not a day. As you can see, it is tilted up here in the back, and look how low the front is. He admitted that they hit choppy water at one point, so not that hard of a stretch to think that the water started coming over the boat, and that's when they were in trouble. That's when the bilge pump stopped working. Because Warren, when they claimed that they were leaving and he was jumping into action because it was sinking, he says this. I think it's able to get out one hour. So what happens after that? Why just the water tries to rear anchor and like our looking trying to pull trash out the bilge, and the bilge is basically all that pulls you water, acid water, so the bilge is doing the work. So and you have to just saying the bilge will be pumped out. So I looked over the gall and I was at the release over the bilge and even the water. So I mean we're all freaked out. Oh yeah, we're not explaining for the note. Well then initially we're looking more on the sideline. It's like I'm gonna pull you all out. So even though they were still on the island, he jumps out and throws out an anchor. Why did they pull the anchor up to begin with if they were sinking? If they were sinking, why was Bart offering to tow them out?
There
Why
you
would they
go.
risk being that close to the island and that close to ground to sink out further? Because again, look at how shallow of water these boats are in. So what I suspect is that everybody just hauled ass and left, but because the trim was not going down, it overheated, it stalled out, then the crashing waves were freaking everybody out. But even Warren couldn't keep his story straight or his timeline straight because then listen. Oh, yeah, we're like signing up for the well then initially I'm like on the timeline. It's like I'm gonna pull out. So we're around all this, chaos. People out there 4:30 and I'm still just as many people there. It's not more than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same time. It was great. There's a lot of people up. I mean, eventually Mark pulls us out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out. So he says it right there that Bart pulls them out. They leave at 4:30, and you may be thinking, well, he pulled them after he towed them.
And if y'all look in that interview, because I can't pick up the other phone, I can't show it to y'all. But a still image of his interview and how he took that deep breath in his eyes or whatever, his whole expression said, "Oh my God." This is you could just it was all over him. And I don't know who gave him the advice to go and do that interview, but I'm just saying that was a situation he should not. He was talking way too much. I'm not saying that he should have covered everything up. I'm just saying he was talking, especially when you got a bunch of people who gonna dissect everything that you say and authorities and stuff like that. He actually was, I do believe he was given the truth, but he was placing mismatched people in positions. Now you see? to keep it from coming out to who did what. Just put it that way. But he was definitely revealing things. If you pay attention and you look, and when he took that deep breath and he turned all red and all of that. I mean, I think that image is all over the internet as well. But it's clear that I'm not the only one that's seen it. But the boy looked like he was just, honey, keep your mouth shut.
After, but out. We're full out. We were like a quarter mile out, and we had the tow strap pulled from motorcycle, and he was on our starboard side bow, and so he was running off out to work. Turned around, pulled on my starboard, and we were trying to get situated. Well, that's when why we know that phone call was around 4 p.m. to the private towing company. Now, in my last video, I went into detail with the BART, the fight, all of that stuff, the discrepancies between like the neck of water and then suddenly being in 31 feet of water, etc. I'm going to skip over that. Now, boats do not flood because people swim. Jay says it plainly. Her read is different. A boat, not trimmed up, taking off at high speed into chop, will porpoise, slam, and ship water over the bow, overheat, stall. Warren's own interview admits the motor was filling with water, the battery was underwater, and the trim would not go down, which means the flooding was not caused by the island. It was caused by the way they left it. Hauling ass, underage kids, a fight, drinks, and a reason to run. And then the questions stack. If they were sinking, why pull the anchor? If they were sinking, why was Bart offering a tow, hanging that close to ground, in water this shallow? They say they left at 4:30, towed a quarter mile out, tow strap rubbing, boats rubbing, trying to get situated. And that is when Wyatt called Sea Tow, around 4 o'clock, to a private towing company, not 911, a private tow. The boats came home that night, and the story went upstairs with the dad. After the boats were out of the water, the group went to a female friend's house for a pool. All the friends went downstairs to the pool area. Warren did not. Warren went upstairs and talked to the young lady's father about boats for a while. The last data point for the GPS was at about 8 o'clock that night. So then they go over to a female friend's house to go to the pool. And yet instead of joining his friends in the pool, this is what Warren did. At your lady friend's house. Right, I never got in the pool.
So all of them were supposed to meet up. Warren make it. I don't want to say by the name, Lord Jesus. But the boy ended up off by himself, so called by himself, talking to the daddy, supposedly about a whole nother subject. Nobody makes mention or can even realize when, if you pay attention to all the pictures of them and Nolan before the time of his passing, they always grouped up together. You can tell they made sure. Look at the pool party picture. Where were they? You had a whole group of people that was turned this way watching you. You had a group over there in that corner. Everybody else that was Nolan's boys, they were gathered around Nolan and a girl that was standing there. Now tell me, all of y'all and everybody arrived at their destination but Nolan, and nobody notices that Nolan is not there. So if you're saying all y'all left on these same boats together, where y'all was supposed to be, he had to make the trip to take everybody here, whatever. Y'all dropping people off. That right there is very distinct. Ain't nowhere in the heck you gonna tell me that one black boy out of everybody else that nobody realizes that he's not there. So why would you need to realize that he's not there if he said he was gonna stay back with a girl that was supposed to bring him? You see what I mean? So this is why I tell y'all words, especially in the court of law, honey, it will sink or swim you. Because y'all be get out here thinking y'all be playing them games. But them judges, yes, they paying attention to your language, them definitions of them words. Was it a long time? Was it recently? Was it whatever? When you formulate those things, they paying attention to what you're saying. You talking as if you already knew something because it was a past tense that you spoke of that person. That's already telling you right there. Because otherwise, nobody wanted that for no whatever. At this point, nobody knew what happened, what was going on, no nothing. But you refer to him as past existing. You see? Lord have mercy, God.
With dad for a while, and I mean, all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad, and talked about boats and stuff. And I wasn't. I mean, I've been with my friends all day. I was just talking to everybody. But so you talked to the young lady's dad, and then how long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that? Well, where's no? I mean, we're all right. Well, now I got to stop your ass because what 18-year-old goes to a friend's house to party? All the friends go downstairs to the pool area, and he goes upstairs to talk to her father about boats. Mind you, these children had been drinking all day long. And he and his buddies don't go home until 3 a.m., mind you. Now, I know it's been a while since I've been 18, but that's a long day in the hot, in the sun, drinking. Sounds to me like you were talking to this dad to help with the story. And then you go downstairs and your friends just so happen to be talking about Nolan, and then you're like, oh my God, I should call the Coast Guard. Well, we went downstairs and all my friends were just hanging out, and
Establishing alibi.
my buddy Wyatt had a dress, talking about Nolan. And I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have you all heard from him? It just seems pretty convenient that after his powwow upstairs with the father of his friend, he comes downstairs and then all of a sudden they start talking. Have you seen Nolan? No, I haven't seen Nolan. Have you
But
seen Nolan?
nobody
Maybe we should
talking
call
to
this person.
Nolan's
We should
mama.
call his mom. Almost seems like they actually go back downstairs after talking about what they should do about the situation with the dad or whatever it is they were really doing at that time. Came downstairs and started talking about Nolan publicly so that everybody at the party could be organic witnesses to when the conversation happened. Because he kept contradicting himself. He kept saying, oh, I wasn't too worried about it, but then also we know that they can kill people. But also, like maybe I would just call the Coast Guard, just to make sure it's okay. I'm so mad I didn't say this, but in one of these interviews, they said that Katie was supposed to come to the party with them later, which is why Nolan said he was going to hang back with her. So why would they dry snitch to their friend's mom before getting in contact with Katie? So as I was making this video, I caught something so big it changes everything. Throughout this entire interview, Warren insisted that Bart's boat was a tide line. He was so sure of it, said it over and over and over again, claimed that there were 20 to 30 people on that boat. By the way he talks about boats and the equipment and stuff, it seems like he has some general knowledge of it and knows a lot about boats. So maybe y'all can tell me why, in this report, when they gathered the GPS evidence, does it say that Bart was driving a tide craft, not a tide line? They're entirely different designs, purposes, manufacturing styles. Mind you, this is what tide crafts look like. They ain't fitting 20 people on them. This is more what tide line boats look like, y'all. So did Bart bring 2 boats with him? Warren said Bart's dad was originally supposed to go with them. A tide line boats don't fit 20 people either. So was there a 4th boat out there? Sit with that. An 18-year-old at a party after a day of drinking on the water while his friends are downstairs at a pool goes upstairs to talk to a father about boats. Jay's read is blunt. It sounds like a story being built, not a teenager killing time. Because when he finally comes back downstairs, his friends just happen to be talking about Nolan. Where is Nolan? Have you all heard from him? Maybe we should call his mom. In public. At a party. Where everyone in the house can become an organic witness to the exact moment they realized he was missing. And the contradictions keep coming. In one of these interviews, it was said that Katie was supposed to come to the party with them later, which is why Nolan said he would hang back with her. So why would they run to a friend's mom before ever contacting Katie? Why dry snitch the girl their whole story depends on? Jay keeps returning to one sentence. He kept saying he wasn't too worried, but he also kept saying, maybe we should call the Coast Guard, just to make sure, not worried, and calling the Coast Guard. Both cannot be true. But the biggest crack was not in that night. It was in the boats themselves. Throughout his entire interview, Warren insisted Bart's boat was a tide line. He said it over and over. He is a guy who talks boats like he knows them. So maybe someone can explain why the report, when it gathered the GPS evidence, says Bart was driving a tide craft. Not a tide line, a tide craft. Entirely different designs, different purposes, different manufacturing. And here is what a tide craft looks like. You are not fitting 20 to 30 people on it, which is how many Warren claimed were aboard. So Jay went to the photographs. The Triton, confirmed by the black stripe on its white motor. Bart's black boat, confirmed by its Garmin. The Palm Beach, labeled, striped. And beyond them, half hidden, a black propeller, where no Palm Beach name sits. Another boat, on the other side of the 3 boats. A 4th boat. She cannot prove it, she says so, but look at what the interviews already admit. Wyatt had 2 boats in the water, the Palm Beach and the Triton. Warren said he rode out with Bart, yet at one point, he said all of his stuff was on the Palm Beach. So who drove the Palm Beach out to the water? And what parent lets a kid heading to a party take 2 family boats and hand them to drunk friends? Then the people. Warren said he called Bart that morning. Bart's dad had decided not to go, and Bart suddenly agreed to carry 10, maybe 15, 16 people on a trip.
So it's been established. I told you there's missing names of people that was there. Even in that on that call were for the tow thing or whatever. You can hear um that was at least one adult there. Whoever and whatever is going on, they're trying to protect certain people. Um, I am very, very tired, you guys. So it's only a little bit more to go to this video, but I think I'm going to the video. If you want to watch it in its entirety, let me make sure I can see. Ooh, Lord. I think that say the black docket. Hold on, let me push on it. See if I can. Yeah, the black docket. DOCKET. So you guys, you can go ahead. I am literally sitting up here and I want to make it back to, oh my gosh. I want to make it back to the microwave to at least finish out my food, hopefully, because I can't let it stay right here with me. Um, I need to rest, at least take a nap. So y'all just pray for me. I'm sorry. I just the only fight is I can pull through, and this stuff can be so draining as well. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and thank y'all for joining. If there's any more to this or we whatever y'all know, I keep y'all posted on what the Lord is saying about the situation. I don't even think this me. Is one of y'all tired or something? Sleepy or something like that? I was just okay and I was asleep. But however, she came up with a lot of interesting things that I will say that I can concur with her in the things that God revealed to me of what took place, um, and how these things are going back. I don't really say very much because I don't want to be involved in people thinking that we're implicating their children. Well, they are men at this point. They, I think, if I believe I'm right, that they all are adults. Um, Nevertheless, they're still somebody's children. Okay, and then they have their whole little lives ahead of them as well. You don't want to be projecting things and whatever. Only thing I could tell you with me is nothing about a theory or whatever. Whatever God shows me, that is what it is. From the time I was yay high to the chicken, just like I explained to you, when God has shown me the visions of um, the DEATHs in my family and abroad. Same thing with Brian Laundry and the girl, and it was during that time where when that happened, I couldn't even rest. It's like I kept hearing her voice. I just kept it would not go away, and I literally had to do something to shut it off. When I would go to sleep, the girl would show up, and it was overwhelming. I don't see how people, only God knows, but it takes a lot of virtue from you. Um, and according to the different things, that's the attachments that come with that. I'm telling y'all, that world is nothing to play with. The demonic world is nothing to play with. And I've now, as an adult, I've ran from it for a good minute. It's somewhere on live TV, videotape, where I was prophesied to. You will see Apostle Lockhart was my leader at that time. Man came from, I told you, God showed me a vision that man was coming. He came. We Everything God showed me in the vision took place. And he prophesied to me what God told me he was gonna prophesy to me in that vision. Um, he traveled all the way from Montgomery, Alabama. His name is Prophet Apostle Daniels. I think it, yeah, Daniels. No, Briggs. Thank you. I'm sorry, Holy Spirit. Briggs. I've had several apostles and prophets confirmation that have confirmed that have said the same things. But I went to in my early stages of being a missionary. I went to my apostle because I had concerns and I was didn't know what it was and why did God have me to see certain things and all of that stuff. Ooh, how I started getting hit. Good Lord. Um, it was then that Apostle o- opened up to me and told me that the Lord said he didn't respond right off the bat when I said what I said. He prayed about it and everything, and then he called me to the side and he talked to me about it. Right after that, the man that God showed me that would be traveling for a revival, he did what he ended up having to delay and stayed farther in the revival, and it did happen. I ended up meeting him in the parking lot. He divulged the same thing to me, and it was at that point that he had told me, "You, I'm not telling you nothing you don't know." And at the point, what's in you, most people read the Bible, but God actually put it in you, and He told me you're going to find it very hard for you to leave the ministry. However, God is going to remove you from that ministry because He will never allow you to expand. And God never put you there to just sit idle. You are one of the ones that must go out. You have to go to the nations. He said, this is not just you must go to the nations and it's going to happen. Ain't nobody going to be able to stop it. It must happen. This was before your birth that you were supposed to come here and do exactly what you're doing. Um, and he revealed a couple of things to me and he told me the same thing. When I got back to church, I didn't even tell Apostle me because I didn't want them to have no friction with because Apostle was really yeah, he didn't like stuff like that. So I didn't say anything. So I guess he did get a chance to at some point in time speak to my apostle or whatever. And then that's when he let him know that he briefly spoke to me out in the parking lot and what God had revealed to him. Um and apostle came to me and revealed to me what I had confided in him about my visions and stuff like that. And no ever which way did I ever think anything about psychics or anything like that. I just knew that things were getting more and more intense, and it was. Apostle picked it up, and when he called me to talk to me, that's when I opened up and told him about it because I was scared to tell anybody about it. But it had got to be scary because I had started seeing things and I knew I wasn't sexually active and stuff like that during a portion of the time. And literally, I was just blown away because I would look at people and God would just strip them before me and I would be able to see things that they was doing and stuff like that. And then my visions would be so intense that it was like certain things that they was doing in their bedrooms and different things that was going on And I was just like, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Time out. What is this? And it took me a minute. And pretty much probably by the time, yeah, when I got on YouTube, it took me before I really was I is jumping. Thank you, Jesus. But yeah, it takes some time. Um and some of us, like I said, a lot of people always want to have labels as prophets and all this kind of stuff. The ones that God truly put out there that He sends, we don't be asking for it. I ain't asking for it. I praise God for whatever you use me to do. But take all them labels and all this stuffers. I'm a little quiet, little on that, and I be just happy in my little quiet place, honey. All that other stuff, honey. That's why y'all see me now. People be coming up to me and people be knowing me and stuff like that, and I be running. I be trying to get out of Dodge, mature and tell you. And they be like, "Oh, mama, you didn't say such and so and so. I told you." And I be trying to get out of Dodge. You want to I had people preach on me, people laugh at me or whatever because they be like, "You're supposed to be a believer. You're supposed to be a sister in Christ. You ain't supposed to be hiding from people. You talk too much, I shoot." So okay, confirmation. So that's how my little life been, y'all. And my daughters is hitting them hard at this time too. Several things that they saying, especially like the third oldest, and I think the second oldest and the third oldest. Baby girl is a lot like me. She's just really she's really introverted like me. But she don't, she see a lot, she know a lot and stuff, and she stay very much in tune with God, but she's not ready to be like public like I am or whatever, which all besides the oldest one, I believe, when it comes to that. And that's just something I wouldn't say she wants to either, but it's in her, and um she fights it. She fights it. But it seems like everywhere she goes, even if it's not my ministry, it's somebody ministry that she goes to, they push her to get in the forefront and be in the public in some sort of way to follow her calling. But she always, with the word and stuff like that, she just, so if they see anything, they'll say mommy and this is that, da 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 da, and have me to reveal or something before it's them doing what I do and do something like that, what you see right there, whatever. No, they don't they don't do that. And I think I carry the second oldest one really, really close to my heart because even the short time I was there with her and her husband, I saw and it really burdened me because I seen the devil try to get in the way, but even before she was born, when I was going into labor, there was another lady going into labor, and the lady was coming across my room, and she prophesied. I don't know who the lady was. To this day, I don't know who that lady was. It was some white lady or something. And she was just like, "Well, I hope it don't scare you, but I must say what the Lord was telling me to tell you." She was like, "That baby you finna have is a special child, and she's gonna have to be, or it's gonna have to be, treated as such." And she was like, "The gifts, and she just started saying stuff. I'm not gonna put it all out there or whatever." And I started noticing, like, with her and how she became an overachiever. She always had her head in the book. Most of the kids be want to watch TV. She was always somewhere in the corner in a book or something. Still today, um, she is her and her oldest sister is close in age. But I mean, however, it's pretty difficult of what I saw. And I know that there's something that I couldn't help, but I could have taught her a little bit if she just had a, you know, but anyways, but I would try to help her just like I found out how I needed to do myself to kind of turn it off a little bit because it got overwhelming. Doing the point of the little, y'all remember the girl where she was with the grandparents or something. And child, they let the man stay back there. And he was an offender, and oh, Jesus, I don't know if that was in Texas too or something like that. And they end up finding that girl by that pond. I released it right here on this page. It's still in the post where I showed them. I drawed it out and everything, and told them they was gonna find that little girl in that part, and there was a bridge right there, and the waters was really deep. Like they get high and low, and how it get to whatever. And when that thing came across the TV, I can still feel it now that I just wept for that baby. It was just and I was like, no. And then they found her book bag out there as well. But there was three consistent visions that God gave me leading up to that baby's death. And that's why I say to y'all, it's not about likes and all of that, but it really makes me feel some type of way that so many people are on this page and nobody will not nobody, but people don't, which is the least like the video, and that helps other people. Of course, the president gonna have spies and all that kind of stuff or whatever, but there are so many people that have been coming across in the news and certain things, and had it be that even if they could have came across this or that or whatever, they parents or something that could save somebody's life. And that's the whole thing about it for me. The little girl, the little black girl, she said, I beat him. I beat him. Oh, it's just the sweetest thing. And I prophesied, go right there in the videos, you'll see it. I said, whoever you are that's planning to SA a child, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. And that little girl was brave and she made it out alive. But there's so much, there's just so many things, you guys. It is nothing to play with, and that's what God put us here. Because when we don't, He say, then the blood gonna be required on our hands for everything, every prayer we didn't pray, anytime well God put people in front of us that we didn't help them and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's gonna be checked off on the day of judgment, baby. And I don't want to be found unfaithful in the eyes of God. That is my whole heart for souls to see people healed, set free, delivered, and whatever it is. It's hard for me to do the Nolan thing. It's hard for me to do because I have did it. I think it was French Montana, uh, what the Mega boy, the rapper, stir fry man, or whatever. The what to somebody the boy with the chains, the black rapper with the chains around his neck, child. Um, yeah, Dolphin. Who said that? One of y'all said that because it came so fast. And then I thought about it. It so had to do something with the ocean, with the sea or something. So yeah, dolphin, right? Um, and I had no idea. I was like, who? And well, I don't even know if I'm saying the boy name right because my daughter bust out laughing at the third oldest. And she was like, Mom, say his name again. And I said, she was like, Mom, his name is, I was like, God, go on, leave me alone. You know, I don't know about no rapper or whatever. So I love y'all. And I want to turn to at least, I don't know what time it is. Yeah, see if I can take a nap. And I see I got my energy back again. So y'all just pray for me. I love y'all and I thank y'all for joining. Keep Nolan Wells' mama in your prayers. She really need it. I mean, it's just so much, but I know God is going to pull her through. Nolan, mommy, because I can't think of your name right now, baby. I'm tired. Just know that I am consecrating and I am believing God as well for you to get the answers that you need, but also for your safety. And if it takes for you to move, then baby, just move. It's not worth when you have more children to raise as well. I believe that your son would feel the same way that he would want you to be in safety. And as far as your job and stuff is concerned, before I got on here, I even heard God say that He's going to move for you in ways that's astronomical. This is for you. You're not going to even just because they don't think that they have you, and God is always going to make a way of escape for you when it comes to your job, your career, and stuff like that. So you have a right to want justice for your baby. You have a right. Oh my God, oh my God, somebody just broke down in tears. You have a right to know what happened. And God said He's going to make sure that you get the answers that you deserve. And apparently, your heart has been right, and so did you teach your son. And no matter how they try to dominate and depict his character, just be at peace and know that God will make sure that he has a long legacy. And when I saw it, brought tears to my eyes, but I was full of joy that the Lord had me to see. And I just said, God, I just pray that they build a legacy for him, that somebody from the football or whatever that he was playing would at least acknowledge him, get him a jersey, if they could get him some type of, in his name, in his honor. And when I saw that, it was that's just amazing. So just be proud of knowing that no matter what, baby girl, you raised a good man. And he would have been a good man, but God only knows why his life was so short. But in his short time, he made an impact in the world that he don't get a chance to see himself, but you get a chance to witness that he's going to be able to live out the dreams that even though he's not in the physical, that there's people are going to remember him and they're going to make his name historical. And it's going to be monumental for you. It'll be overwhelming at times, but just think of it and just smile with joy and have the peace in your heart to know that God did not fail you and that He is with you. And I heard something about fame, Hall of Fame, or something like that. So just know that God is opening doors for you. I know it's hard. It's a hard weight to carry, trying to grieve and so much just coming at you all at one time. And you're trying to stay strong and everything. But God will not fail you. Just keep your hope and your trust in Him and know that you and your family is going to be fine. So God bless you, and I hope hope you have a good day. So I love you guys, and like I said, just keep the woman of God in your prayers and keep me in your prayers as well.